What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Buckeye BS.
The
Here with
fuck
my
going
guy,
on?
here with my guy Cam. How you guys doing on this Sunday morning?
Chilling, man. Another day, another ball talk. Trying to get to the fucking season. This shit is terrible. We're trying to get there. September's right around the corner.
We
Fuck.
st- we still have what 50 something days until the season. I've been playing NCAA like crazy because I just can't find a way to get my college football fix. We're rewatching games. I'm playing NCAA, and the season still cannot get here fast enough.
Absolutely.
So this past weekend, we see some star-studded celebrities at Michael Rubin's birthday party, and there were a lot of representation from the Big Ten there. We had Tom Brady, Micah Parsons, the Buckeyes' very own CJ Stroud, and quite possibly the most random picture I have ever seen. Drewski, little baby, and CJ. What were your thoughts when you saw CJ pop up at this party?
I mean, CJ's from LA, right? So every time we see him on Instagram and shit like that, like he's always like hooping, like him and Bryce Young was hooping with like Jack Harlow, Chris Brown, stuff like that. And that was like during his first year starting at Ohio State, whenever they would have like little breaks or whatever. So I feel like just being starting quarterback at Ohio State, getting invited to New York, like kind of put him in that stardom already, and being from LA. So yeah.
So we saw Micah Parsons there. We saw Tom Brady there. What does this say about? Is this a recruiting tactic for the Big Ten? Like you see these celebrities from Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. Is this the real Big Three?
I mean, Stetson Bennett won two natties. I ain't see that motherfucker in there. So, I mean, something's got to be up, bro. Because I ain't see Jalen Carter. I ain't see Jordan Davis. I ain't see none of them motherfucking Bulldogs. So,
I got a little bit of
damn.
flack on the timeline for mentioning Big Ten legend Joey B in the house. Like, come on now. You know we're taking credit for
Look
that.
at Donovan Mitchell, man. Look like a Cisco video extra, man.
Ohio deep as fuck. Again, they say it's just farms up here. All the Ohio boys at the Cali parties.
Man, we got that juice, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see, Buckeyes and the Big Ten are out here shining. I'm going to continue to push those narratives because the Big Ten is here. And now that we got this money, you're going to start seeing us at more billionaire parties. I'm telling you that. But so one thing that helps these kids get to these parties is the NIL that they're making these days. They're rubbing shoulders with rich people a lot earlier. So I want to talk about this number one recruiting class. We hear the Buckeyes are out here spending a ton of money. Do we have a chance of landing the number one recruiting class in the country this year?
I think we have a chance. I mean, obviously, everyone's waiting on a big fish with KJ Bolden's, Brandon Baker's, Aaron Scott's, Dylan Stewart's, KVA, JoJo's, J Mac, Jaden Jackson. So it's like we have all these guys that we have in the wings to that we want to get and that could change our program. Now, the fact of the matter is, do they trust our coaching staff? Do they want to come up north? Do they want to be a part of what Ryan Day's building and try to get us over that hump to become a national champion? Because we just saw Georgia get like what 6 fucking O-line commits over 6-7 5 days.
Their offensive line. Their offensive line is something ridiculous. I saw that offensive line class. I think the smallest guy was 6'5", 325. He was the little one. At 6, and then I mean, if they put Dylan Raiola at center, you're talking about a generational offensive line with that recruiting class right there.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
with this battle for the number one recruiting class, is it a numbers game or is it something attainable for the Buckeyes? I mean, you look at Georgia's class right now. They have 26 commits as they sit as the number one class with a 311 recruiting ranking. You just rattled off 8 potential Buckeye commits, and that would only take Ohio State to 26, who's currently sitting at 18 commits with a 282 class rating. Do we even have the numbers to do it? Because, I mean, even if we land every recruit that you just named, is that even enough to pass Georgia? I mean, I know it would pass them in the ranking, but we're hearing reports that they could potentially sign 31 kids this class.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened in 2021 with Alabama. They signed more kids than us, but I mean, if we have 26 kids, um, and can have the highest average with that, I'll take that because um, that's what we're going to do. I don't really foresee anyone, especially in Ohio State in the Big Ten, taking 30 kids a class. I don't see that happening.
I mean, they joke and call it the Doug Archie rule with us never taking more than 24 kids. So, I mean, if we get to 26, that's a celebration in my book.
Exactly. The number I was hearing though was around 28, but we'll see, man. Listen, I'm fucking tired of this shit, man. Like, we need to fucking do what it takes to win. So I don't know if it's because we're concerned with pushing kids out into the portal. Well, god damn it, there's some kids that need to hit the portal year in year out. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna take 30 and we feel like this kid's ceiling's higher, and we've had somebody in the program for 3 years and they see that 30, that number 30 class coming in, well, they're gonna know I gotta hit the portal. I'm out of here. My name might be on the chalking board. And that's what college football is becoming. Like it's becoming more and more of a business. So I don't understand the strategy of keeping fat on a team when you could take in 30 kids that has higher potential.
Do you think it requires 30 kids, or do you think they can get it done with 26?
I mean, I don't think every class requires 30 kids, but like situations like this when we've just been cheddar Bob biscuits on defense, I think we should take 30 kids in the class and kind of put the feet to fire to some kids that are on the team already. But look, what we got on the field is not good enough, and we're going to oversign year by year until we reach that standard. Now, if you show us that you're hitting that standard in spring and blah blah, then that's that. But as of right now, I mean, there's kids the last couple of years that were on our team and that are playing that if they were at Alabama or Georgia would have been processed out. But that's just my opinion.
So we've recently seen us get a few commits. The Justin Scott commitment was a huge surprise, and then we recently received Miles Lockhart. I just want to get your thoughts on those two players right there, and how big is that for our class?
Like Pate said, I mean, us having that big 300-pound interior, like Caden McDonald, he's coming in as a freshman. He's 6'3", 310. Hero Canute, my guy, by the way, 6'5", 310. Justin Scott, 6'5", 310. I really can't think of time, even when we were winning national championship with Urban and through Tressel's era where we had a defensive line that big that we're going to be able to have in a two deep. We're truly seeing the issues that we've been having up front, not only with Michigan recently in 2021 and 22 with 4 quarters of banging in the trenches, but also when we go play like Alabama or Georgia, we will have that rotational value as far as like being size on a defensive line. We haven't had that at Ohio State. So I'm excited to see that.
And then Miles Lockhart.
Miles Lockhart is talking. We had him in a space, and I think that his demeanor and his moxie is something that is going to be needed on our team and on the field. Because, Ron, how many times did we watch a play this year and a defensive back will make a tackle or something, and there's no celebration, there's no excitement? Like,
bro, so during the Michigan game, I was with Easy and Dez, and we're sitting at this restaurant watching the game, and it's going into the fourth quarter, and I don't know who the guy's name is on Michigan. He's standing on top of the bench, screaming down at the whole team, and I'm like, I turned and looked at both of them and I said, we don't have anyone like that on our team that would stand on the bench and scream at everyone and give a rallying speech before the fourth quarter. These kids that they're bringing in to the future of BIA, they have that moxie. They have that swag. Like when you hear them talk, like Jermaine Matthews, that kid oozes confidence. Miles Lockhart, that kid oozes content or confidence. We're sitting in the space with him, and he's getting me ready to run through a wall with just like you asked him, did he ever visit Michigan? He said, "Hell no." Like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Hell no. Like he ain't going up there. Like I need that type of energy from our defense. And the fact that we're getting a kid like that, I think he's going to be huge for our defense. And like, I mean, we got kids like Malik Hartford, Cedric Hawkins. We got dogs in that secondary now. Calvin Sampson Hunt, like, I'm excited about the future of BIA, and that commitment was fun. And shout out to Miles Lockhart for pulling up on us in the space. That was a good time being able to talk to him, especially right after his commitment. That was awesome for him to take the time out for us and do that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it was just like the small things. Like I just want to see my defense fly around, be excited, want to be physical, want to intimidate the opponents again. I just feel like we were very passive in Columbus, and that's just not characteristic of Buckeye football. So let's get back to it.
So during that time frame too, there was one other commitment that we need to talk about.
Let's do it.
We were on Menace. We were on the corner with Chris on the Menace channel earlier this week, and there was another commitment that we thought was heading the Buckeyes' way. And as we were sitting in the pre-production show, we got a flurry of crystal balls flipping the other way right before the Marquise Lightfoot commitment, and we had to listen to Big Cap get on the StreamYard and talk his shit. But things aren't looking so good for the Hurricanes right now with Marquise Lightfoot, as we see reports from rivals coming out already that he's already on flip watch. So I just want to get your thoughts on this Marquise Lightfoot situation. He commits to Miami. A week later, he's on flip watch. Where do you think this kid ends up by signing day?
Uh I'm not an insider. You know, that's my moniker. I'm not an insider. I know nothing about inside information, but I do have opinions and I do hear things. So, with that being said, uh I heard that he was allegedly locked in with OSU, and certain circumstances happened, and Miami, doing their job, convinced him that Miami was the best place for him. Congrats to that kid. But if you guys go back on YouTube and watch the 247 interview, his body language and the way he was speaking just seemed like it was just like very new, like he just made that decision. I didn't get the vibe that he was just like ecstatic to be a Hurricane. So this news coming out about him potentially flipping is not surprising to me. Now, with that being said, as far as regarding to the Buckeyes, let's look at Ryan Day's history with this situation, right? Like, Ron, what happened with Dijon last year? Or other instances where we've heard rumors about kids wanting to come back into class, and Ryan Day kind of being like, once you're locked in and you're not, we won't take you back. So do you think that's a real thing, or is that just really Buckeye rumor talk?
I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's rumor talk. I don't care, honestly, because if he calls and wants to come back, come on home. Come on home. We will take you. So if he wants to come back into the class, I will gladly take him. I'm not sure if Ryan Day has a policy on, once you're out, you're out. I'll take them. If they want to flip, I will gladly take them. And I really don't, not much hesitance for me there. What about you? You taking them?
I mean, I feel like it's a case by case situation, because it's like if I'm a coach and I take a commitment from a kid, right? I'm thinking that this kid is locked into class. So once I'm going forward, I'm recruiting, and then you go commit somewhere else. And after you giving me a verbal, a private verbal, I feel like you're kind of putting our program in a jam without being honest to me. And it could be like kind of a character thing that a coach don't want to deal with. And also, coach can have an ego and have pride. Like, hey, like you lied to me. I don't feel like I'm liking that very much. So I think it's a case by case situation where it's like, basically how the relationship between the player and the coach went, and like how it happened. Because it's like, I don't know. Because once you get a kid locked in the class, like you're assuming they're there, they got that, and it's like kind of move on to the next step. And if you gotta backtrack, that's kind of putting everything into chaos mode as far as the board goes. So we'll see how Ryan Day feels, if it's even true that he wants to come back, or if he's even flipping.
So I think this is the perfect segue into our next game that we are going to play, and I guess we will start with Marquise Lightfoot. We are going to play in or out for remaining targets in the Buckeyes class as of July 9th. Where do you stand on Marquise Lightfoot? Do you think he ends up a Buckeye, or does he stick with the Hurricanes?
You put me on the spot. Uh, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the third. I think he might end up at another school. Simply because I don't know this for sure, but I just have an inclination of how Ryan Day operates. I do not think that he would bring him back in the class. But I do think that the whole Miami situation, once ball starts getting played and he looks around and be like, damn, there's 15,000 people in the stands and y'all about to lose 7 games and all these guys you said that were coming ain't coming, he's going to start looking around. But I'm going to put my money on Ryan Day not taking back I don't know. Actually, I'm going to backtrack that because Lightfoot wasn't committed publicly like the other guys.
Correct.
So I'll say if he decommits, he'll go to Ohio State. I'll say that.
I will also. That was a great hedge because I was
Yeah.
just gonna say
Yeah.
no, he remains a Hurricane, but I will preface it with if he decommits, he will be a Buckeye. That'll be my vote there. Okay, so we're gonna go quickly lightning round through these, just a quick in or out for these remaining targets. 5-star offensive tackle Brandon Baker. Do you have him in the class or out of the class right now for the Buckeyes?
I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't really know.
Your best guess, in or out?
I don't know. It's not like I'm like following up and like I just like random people just tell me things. I'm just like, okay, it sounds good. But I don't know. I mean, he just released the graphic and we weren't on it, right? It was Florida State. Not Florida State, but it was Georgia, Oregon, Nebraska, and another school, and we weren't on the graphic. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say Baker's out. I don't know.
Baker's out. I am going to go with Baker's in. We'll see what happens there. Go ahead, clip that one up. This will be fun to see on the timeline in a week when he commits to Texas or Oregon or something of that nature.
Oh,
But
Texas. That was the other one. Texas,
I'm going to be the super Buckeye homer here, and I'm going to go Brandon Baker in the class. The next one, probably the most polarizing recruitment thus far, Aaron Scott, 5-star cornerback out of Springfield, Ohio.
Oh, the team up north's favorite darling. I'm gonna say he's a Buckeye. I'm gonna say he's in.
I'm going to go with he is also in. Edric Houston. We just saw him this past weekend for the 4th of July in Buckeye gear. Do you have Edric Houston, 5-star defensive tackle edge?
I think he's gonna turn into a 5 tech personally, but all the signs of the leading industry recruiting insiders are saying that he's locked in. So I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna offer them.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Buckeye as well. He seemed to be enjoying his holiday weekend decked out in the scarlet and gray.
Absolutely.
Another polarizing recruitment and may have you looking at Instagram photos to glean any insight on their recruitment. We have KJ Bolden. Mom recently stepped out in all Georgia gear. We just saw dad at camp in Ohio State gear. Are they playing the game? What's going on here? Do you have KJ Bolden in the class or out of the class?
I have no thought on that at this moment. I mean, the crystal balls are flown in from Clemson and FSU, which are the other 2 schools that were recruiting him, for him to be going to Georgia, which is interesting. But the people in-house in Columbus are feeling a different way. And it's just like, I don't know who to believe, especially after the whole Justin Scott situation. So it's like,
They know how to keep secrets at Ohio State.
like how credible are the crystal balls after Justin Scott when they told us that they didn't even mention us in his recruitment for a month and talking about he's a Miami or Michigan lock, and he comes out and says fuck both of them and he's a Buckeye. So what's a crystal ball mean this cycle? So I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I can't make a call on that one.
Oh my God, this dude is the worst. I'm going to go with stand for something. KJ Bolden's a Buckeye. You heard it here first.
There we go.
Okay, so we go to another major SEC battle and another edge. Dylan Stewart. Do you have him in or out?
Whew.
Quickly.
And
In. We got Dylan Stewart in. I'm going to go super duper homer. I have Dylan Stewart in the class. Before we go on to these last couple, I want to thank everyone for pulling up this Sunday and smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed to the channel.
please share the stream and get your friends, families, uncles, aunts, cousins, boyfriends, side pieces, please.
Children's iPads, whatever you want. Go ahead and find a Buckeye BS playlist and watch the podcast. So we have another recruitment coming up here. 2 weeks from today, July 23rd, we have KVA, Kingston Viama.
Buckeye. Locked in.
Buckeye. Lock it in. He's a Buckeye. Okay.
We don't even got to talk about that one. Locked in.
We got a couple Miami battles here to talk about. Jaden Jackson, another D tackle. Mm-hmm. Big Cap Radio, you talk to him, he tells you he's a Hurricane lock. The Buckeyes, I still hear his name. Where you got Jaden Jackson?
Man, Jaden. I mean, the crazy part about Jaden Jackson is I'm hearing that he's fucking with Texas the most. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to say Jaden Jackson's out because I think that other universities are willing to invest more into his services.
I feel like Jaden Jackson will be a higher priority for other schools, and it will turn into a bidding war that the Buckeyes are not willing to participate in. But who knows? But that's where I stand right now.
Because I mean, we heard from we
racks on racks at Ohio State.
We got people that are involved in the know in the program that we speak to on a daily basis, and they're telling us that they look at Jackson as a high 4-star on our board at Ohio State. So who knows?
So another Miami battle, probably one of the more polarizing ones, one of our more infamous battles on Twitter. Chaminade Madonna, wide receiver, Josiah Trader. Does JoJo end up a Buckeye?
I'm gonna have to go with no. Based off what I know, I'm gonna have to go with no. I'm gonna have to go with no.
See, just my pride won't let me not say he's a Buckeye. I've been adamant since I've started growing my Twitter, doing media, saying anything. One of my original takes was JoJo and Jeremiah will play together. And I don't think Jeremiah's going to Miami, so I'm going to stick to my
I think he's going to go to Florida State, personally. But
Florida State? Okay. Yeah. You heard it from Cam. Florida State. You heard it from Ron. I'm still holding out hope for the Buckeyes. And our last in and out we're going to get to the Buckeyes' favorite position. It seems like we just can't get enough of them. Jeremiah McClellan. 4-star wide receiver. Do you have him in or out of the class at this point?
I have him in. I think he's going to be in very soon.
Fingers crossed. Let's hope that he's in. I have Jeremiah in as well. We were watching his highlights on the Discord the other day, and that kid is a burner. So it would be awesome to see that type of speed in the class. Our guy Q couldn't make it today, but I will get his favorite line off. Hopefully he's not too fast to play here. So our next topic that we wanted to get to was the Heisman odds. I know it's July. It is the dead season. They call it silly season on Menace. So let's dive.
Look at us right now.
Look at us diving deep into silly season. So we're going to talk a little preseason Heisman odds. And I want to start the conversation off by talking about which Buckeye you think has the best Heisman odds in your opinion, despite what Vegas has. I'm going to rattle off the Heisman odds for the top 4 candidates for the Buckeyes, and I want to get your opinion on who you would pick if you were putting money down. We have Marv at plus 2,200. We have Kyle at plus 1,800. We have Trevion at plus 6,500, and we have backup starting quarterback, Devin Brown at plus 8,000.
They got DBZ at plus 8,000. All right, listen. Um, if our offense was, this is a hot take. So if our offense was up to have a bell cow running back and one guy was just to get all the carries and Ryan Day design offense, if we're going to run heavy this year, I think that our running back, whoever the starting running back, will have the best chance of winning the Heisman.
Stop saying that. Stop saying whoever the starting running back is.
Whoever
Just accept it. TreVeyon Henderson, our starting running back, 5-star, number 1 recruit in his class. TreVeyon Henderson is the number 1 running back. And I'm just so happy that you even teased that idea, because I have forever said that this is TreVeyon's Heisman year.
Bro, you didn't let me get my take out, bro. Like,
no, because I'm stealing it, because you hinted at my take. TreVeyon, this is his Heisman year. He was the number 1 running back in his class. Everybody had such high expectations for him. He had amazing stats as a freshman. We have a first-year starting quarterback. Why not your 5-star, number 1 ranked running back have a Heisman-type year?
All right, cool. For the sake of not arguing, TreVeyon, all right?
I want to know. No. Who was your thought? Honestly, that's not even who I was gonna pick. I've just been saying for a long time that I think that it's setting up for the type of year where if you were to see a Heisman type running back in a Ryan Day offense, wouldn't this be the year?
Yeah. I mean, but we saw fucking J.K. Dobbins get 23 touchdowns and 2,000 yards, and he didn't even make it to New York. So
because we already set 2 Buckeyes that year.
Derrick Henry won a Heisman with them numbers, so it's kind of crazy.
Our boy Kasai's in the chat. Fuck, we send any more Buckeyes, it's gonna look like his Heisman ballot,
right? But obviously, the best choice is going to be Marv, because it's like Marv is going to be the anchor of the offense, and what's going to be giving people that like sense of like security, because we're going to have a new starting quarterback, unless Kyle or Devin comes out and they're just slinging it all the way around. But I think we're going to see our offense heavily relying on play action and Marv winning one-on-ones and making big plays and being perceived as the engine that makes the offense go, kind of like how Bama was with Devontae Smith when old boy from the Patriots, what's his name? The quarterback's name.
Mac Jones.
Kind of how like Mike Jones and him was, where it's just like it's very obvious that I got an elite wide receiver and I'm running the offense through him, and I got an elite and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to say Marvin Harrison Jr. because of that reason. I think that he's going to be put in a position kind of like what they're trying to do with JSN last year, to be the feature guy.
So before we get on to our favorites and our dark horse picks, I just want to ask you a quick question. Is Vegas telling us something? I mean, plus 1,800 versus plus 8,000 doesn't sound much like a quarterback battle. Is Cal the starter?
I mean, based off what I'm hearing, Ryan Day loves his ability to have like this velocity on the ball. I think it's very NFL like, but I think the trust factor is there more with Kyle because he's been there longer. So I think that that's going to give him the edge over Devin Brown. But do I think that he's better physically for our offense? I'm going to have to lean Devin Brown. But as far as me knowing how coaches work and how they operate, I can see Kyle McCord being the starter because of the trust factor that in the bond that I think that him and Ryan Day has built over the 3 years. And plus, he waited his turn. Like, that means something. That shows character. He's never cried. He's never bitched. We never heard a transfer rumor. So I don't want to be the guy that says someone deserves something, but like he deserves his shots to show us that he can play. And if he can't, then the next guy up.
You, seniority Cam. Never thought I'd see the day.
I mean, with the quarterback position, it's different, bro. It's like you're that motherfucker has to know what the fuck's going on, you know? So it's like
no, I feel you there. So Heisman favorites. I want to get your actual Heisman favorite that's not a Buckeye. If you were laying down money on a Heisman pick on July 9th, who you picking?
Jaden Daniels out of LSU. If you look at his setting up, he's got an opening game against another Heisman favorite in Jordan Travis. He beats them motherfuckers. He's going to shoot to the top. Basically, if Jaden Daniels can win the SEC and make a playoff, he's going to win the Heisman because he's going to have to go through Georgia, Florida State, LSU,
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M to do it, and no one's going to have that freaking resume on their record to do that.
So I am going to steal Berm's Heisman pick. I'm going to go with him Ewers. Quinn Ewers at Texas. I think if he's able to get his get back against Alabama and lead them to a Big 12 championship, I feel like he's going to put up video game numbers in Sark's offense. I've seen a lot of people who clearly aren't well in the mind talking about Texas potentially having a better wide receiver room than Ohio State, which is just fucking patently absurd. But I do think Quinn is going to light it up this year in the Big 12. So that takes us to our dark horse. And I mean, anyone that watches the show knows who the real dark horse candidate is. And I need to ask the chat right now. I don't know what sports books you guys use. Drop it in the chat and let me know which ones you use. Because I need to find odds for my man, Tommy fucking Eichenberg. Tommy Heismanberg. Where can I get the odds? Because I'll put a whole check on it. Let me
Plus
know.
28,000.
Yeah, like let me know what sports book.
Put $1 down.
Anyone wants
Get
to house
28
the bet
bands.
for me? I'm gonna put Tommy Eichenberg as my dark horse candidate for the Heisman. So I want to get yours, Cam. Who's your dark horse Heisman candidate?
This is going to be hot and sizzling for some folks, but I'm going with Connor Weigman at Texas A&M at quarterback. That is my dark horse.
You're big on the SEC West this year.
I just know how it goes. This isn't my personal feelings. This is just how we've seen this dancing pony like 100 times, how it goes. If Jaden Daniels comes out and balls out in the SEC West and he beats Bama and he beats Georgia, they're going to crown him the king of college football. We've seen this story 100 times. Connor Weigman, also in the SEC West, if he beats said LSU team with another Heisman candidate, they're going to be up there. And if you watch his last, he only played 5 games last year, I want to say. Came in late, true freshman, had 8 touchdowns. Hey, as dysfunctional as trash as that offense was last year, he showed me some things, man. If he could come in here and get that offense together, Texas A&M is going to be a fucking problem. Nobody's talking about him, but you heard it first here in Buckeye BS.
So, as much as I would love to say that Tommy's my dark horse candidate, he is, but I can't find odds. So if I did have to place a bet, I would go with another SEC quarterback in Spencer Rattler, but I would go with someone from the East. I think South Carolina's a wild card team this year. I feel like if he were to put it all together, they could be a problem in the East. I think the East is fairly weak. So, I mean, if he could come up with some sort of miracle game against Georgia, I think that's a Heisman storyline right there, and it's something that we could see.
Can I have an honorable mention?
Yeah, let's hear it. No, actually, show's over. No honorable mentions. You're breaking the rules, actually. Disqualified. I win.
I got an honorable mention, man.
Go ahead. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Jeff Sims, Nebraska.
Okay.
Watch that young man. Hey, I'm trying. Hey, watch that young man cook, man. I watched him play with 38 scholarship athletes and go toe to toe with Clemson. So we'll see.
Big Cab Radio asked, does Caleb Williams not exist? Clearly he exists because everybody in the poll in the chat voted for Caleb Williams. So I figured I'd let you guys love Caleb Williams all you guys wanted in the chat, and we'd show some other people love.
Yeah, Gmo, no, Jeff Sims like that. Bro, he was going toe-to-toe in the ACC with nobody on his team. Matt Rule, and they got some transfers coming in there. Nebraska, all right, look out for them this year. They're going to make a bowl game. They're going to get back on track. They are trending up.
I'm just realizing, I just looked at the outline for the show. We never talk about betting on this show. And this is a bet-heavy ass show because we just went through Heisman odds, and we're about to wrap the show up with defensive prop bets. So if you're
I'm about to make y'all some money on this. Y'all pay attention to defensive prop bets. I'm gonna make y'all some bread on this, so y'all listen up.
I am not a financial advisor. This is not official finance advice. Don't sue me if Cam's picks are wrong. So we're gonna get into defensive prop bets and compare some of last year's performances to the expectations that we have for some players this year. So we're going to start off the defensive prop bets in the category of sacks. I set the line for JTT at 6.5. I believe he had 3.5 last year. He was a top 5 player in his class, number 1 or 2 defensive end, depending on the service that you were looking at. Can we expect 6.5 sacks out of JTT this year?
Not buying it.
Not buying it. You're taking the under on 6.5.
Under all day. Plays the strong side defensive end position. Just don't see it happening.
Okay, so let's go over to the other side of the defensive line. We have Jack Sawyer.
Over.
Led the team with 4.5 sacks last year. He's not playing the Jack role. He's going to play a more traditional defensive end role. He's down in weight. He seems to be moving quicker. I set the line the same at 6.5. Will we see 6.5 sacks for Jack Sawyer?
Over. Easy. Over. He's going to have double-digit sacks this year, easily.
I also have the over. Chat, let us know what are your thoughts on some of these in the comments, and also smash that like button if you haven't already. We're going to continue the theme of sacks. I have Mike Hall over under 4.5 sacks. I believe he had 3 last year.
Over.
You're going under?
Over. Easy.
Over?
Yes.
He might get halfway there during the Notre Dame game.
Well, he had 3 that game, right?
That's
what Mike, I'm saying. Yeah. Come on, man.
And then one more defensive lineman, over under 4.5 sacks for our guy, Tyleek Williams.
I want to say over. I think he's going to get over that. What else? It's going to be Mike Hall and Tyleek are going to have a lot of half sacks. So it's like
that adds up.
So like they're going to be a lot of like gang tackling, where they're just going to get like half sacks. So I'm going to go over for him too. If them two are healthy, bro, it's going to be a problem.
So last year, our defense had a total of 34 sacks. Our 2019 defense had 54. We had an episode a few weeks ago where we compared the 2019 versus the 2016 defense. So I figured the 2019 would be a good measuring stick as Ryan Day's best defense. So they had 54 sacks. We had 34 last year. I set the over-under for overall sacks for the Buckeyes next year at 46.5, halfway point between what they did last year and their 54 sack season against in 2019. So where do you have the Buckeyes next year? Over, under 46.5 sacks.
I got us over that because I know that our 2 deep this year is going to be a problem. We're going to be rotating in Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry's and Hero Canoes and things like that. So I'm going to say that we're going to go over that because our 2 deep is going to be just as talented or close to as our 1 deep.
I'm going to go under. I think they have a much improved year. I think we could see 10 to 12 more sacks, and that would still hit the under at 46. I don't think they're going to be as good as 19. I think 54 is a lot to ask for.
Hold on, wait. You're asking if they're going to hit 54?
No. I still think they're going to go under. I think 54. 54 was such a huge bar, and I feel like getting anywhere near that would take an absurd campaign from either Jack or JTT. And while I could see Jack potentially getting the 10 sacks, I don't see him getting up in the 14 to 16 range, but I hope I am wrong there. So another stat that was hammered last year, you've probably seen it on the timeline a million times. We did not have any interceptions from our corners, which is insane for a school that claims DBU, BIA. We haven't had a corner drafted since 19. We had no interceptions last year, I believe. Tanner McAllister, our nickel safety, led the team with 3 interceptions last year. So I want to start with Denzel Burke in his money year, over under 1.5 interceptions.
I want to say the over. because I know that there's going to be a lot more opportunities to get interceptions because I'm anticipating a better interior pass rush and a better pass rush overall, which is going to allow him to break on balls and be more aggressive when the ball's in the air. But two, I've seen his ball skills last year and I just don't see it.
He was a wide receiver in high school. And he was
I'll give him.
recruited.
I'll give him the over. I'll give him and Iggy the over. I'll
That
give
was
them
my
both.
that was my next one. I also had Iggy at over under 1.5, and I am with Cam. I think both of our corners this year, with the pressure that we're going to be able to get with this defensive line, are going to have a much improved year. And I'm hoping to see at least 2 picks from both David Igbinosa and Denzel Burke. So another topic about the corners is, with no interceptions, there were no pick sixes. We had 2 last year. One by Tommy Heismanberg. I know everyone has that. It's a GIF as my background on my phone. And then we had JTT, which was another amazing pick six against Penn State. So 2 pick sixes last year. Do we have over under 3.5 in the 2023 season?
I'm gonna go under.
Under 3.5?
I'm gonna go under.
I'm gonna go over. Our schedule is dog shit through the first 3 games of the season. I would hope that this defensive line is terrorizing people, and we're getting deflected passes and overthrows and shit like that. So I'm hoping we'll be able to go over that number. And then
well, I forgot. See, listen, here's the thing with this. This is why I can't really get serious with this yet, because it's like those type of numbers differentiate whether Steel Chambers and CJ Hicks is out there. You know what I'm saying? Because
Steel Chambers had 2 interceptions last year. Watch your mouth.
I can see CJ Hicks getting under something, picking something, or getting under a ball and tipping it and doing something athletic, on a weekly basis that's causing turnovers. Still,
they asked that boy. I thought they said to him, "I thought you used to play running back. How didn't you take that back when he had
a pick six last play of Maryland game?" That is true.
Oh, there we go. Boom! I missed that. ESPN had that stat off.
Damn.
Damn you.
It might have been a fumble. It might have been considered a fumble. You sure it was a pick?
I'm not sure. I only saw 2 defensive touchdowns when I looked at the stats, but I will go back and check the film. The last stat that we have, overall interceptions, Cam.
Under.
Last year we had 11. 2019 we had 15. I set the over-under because 11 was a lot for how not exciting that secondary was. So I put the over-under at 14.5. Can the Buckeyes get 15 interceptions next year?
Who's that DB? We don't know who's starting, bro. If they put out the usual suspects, I'm going under. But if we put some athletes out there, I'm gonna go over. So I don't know. We don't know who's starting.
All right, I'm gonna.
You know what I'm saying? Lathan Ransom and Cam Martinez out there. Come on, get serious. But Lathan Ransom's a good middle to field safety. But if they put him in the slot position and nickel and all that shit that we were doing last year, it's just I don't know. So
I'm going to go with over. I've been the homerific homer of all homers today because I am all Buckeyes on everything. I think the only thing where I went against the Buckeyes today was Jaden Jackson being in the class. So I'm going to go
I Lathan, Mike. I'm not he's a good middle of the field safety. But
check out that tradition talk with Lathan and Tyvis, by the way, too. Shout out 1870 for the great work that they're doing with that podcast. So yeah, we both have so I have the over there. Cam has the under. I hope you guys don't use any of our advice for betting purposes. This was all for fun because probably going to lose some money betting on our dumbasses. But shout out to everyone that showed up today in the live. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in every Sunday at 10 for Buckeye BS. A little late start for us today, but I think it turned out to be a great show. smash that like button. And Cam, let everybody know where they could find you at.
You can find me at I Know Things 19, terrorizing Wolverines and Wolvercanes on the timeline of Twitter. We also can find me in the Best Damn server on Discord. And you also can find me at Truther on what's that new app called on Instagram?
Threads. I was just about
Threads.
to ask you, did you
Threads.
join any new social
Threads,
media
yeah,
apps?
I'm Truther on Threads. Yeah, but I don't be cooking on there.
Underscore
But I'm trying to get up. You know what I mean? Elon and fucked up my mojo. So go ahead.
Yeah, Elon out here ruining the Bird app, so we had to migrate over to another platform. But yeah, if you want to find me, you can find me on the Bird app, Twitter, 2_TEES. That's 2 T's. You can find me on Twitch at 2 T's, TikTok, 2Shiesties. And I am also on Threads since Elon is pushing us off the Bird app, and I am BDMG_Ron. So if you guys are threaders out there, go ahead and find us. If you want to rewatch games or talk to us in our group chats, pull up on our Discord. You can join the link in our bio. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone showing up every Sunday for Buckeye BS. We'll see you next week.